Hello, this is the Gainsborough studio, part of Felixstowe TV organisation. We should really this morning be down on the beach. We should be jumping up and down and in and out of the surf. Ness should be charging in there with all her kit, saying how wonderful it is. And a sad thing would be that there won't be any flags of any hue flying to indicate to visitors particularly that it meets what is known internationally as a blue flag beach. This is a blow-up of an article that was in yesterday, and really what it says is this. It says, more English beaches will be able to fly the prestigious blue flag this summer. A total of 60 beaches, 4 more than last year, have reached the international blue flag cleanliness standard. And what that actually means is it's not purely the quality of the beach, it's the support infrastructure for the beach, the quality of information available. And what it means is that if you head off for that type of beach, you know exactly what level of supporting infrastructure that particular beach will have. And as you may be aware, the blue flag is an international accreditation of beaches. And what is interesting in this particular article is that England is actually got into the top 10 nations for the blue flag beaches, which is quite a remarkable achievement. And to that end, though I'm sure a number of you will hate me telling you this, we probably got to thank the EU by raising the standards of bathing water over the years to something that is acceptable internationally. And you may recall, particularly those of you who've lived here a while, East Anglia Water spent an awful lot of money putting together all the water outflows and all of the things that used to contaminate our coast into one and taking it into a treatment area within dock, which is then let go at high tide, and out it goes much more effectively than it did in the past. So a lot of people have made a massive financial and planning contribution to ensuring that Felixstowe does have superb bathing quality water, as well as all the support infrastructure that goes behind it. So imagine my surprise when I picked up the Ipswich Star and went to these Felixstowe specific, the Felixstowe extra pages on 16 and 17, to read a statement from Suffolk Coastal with the reasons why we alone, I believe, in the whole of the English coastline, no longer apply for the blue flag. And this was a decision taken back in 2010, whether it was to save money or not, I'm not sure. But we've got a sort of a very well, let me just say what they've said. Tom Potter says, and he was the guy who interviewed the cabinet member at Suffolk Coastal, Felixstowe will again be among a number of Suffolk seaside resorts not considered for the Water Quality Award. And that the reason was they didn't apply to be considered, not that they weren't able to be considered. Now, the decision that was taken back in 2010 says it decided to withdraw due to increasing cost and bureaucracy. It estimated that requisite new signs and an extra emergency telephone on top of administration would cost about £15,000. Now that's spread across the system, and we only had one blue flag actual beach, and that was between the pier and up towards Manor Terrace. So that was the only bit of our beach that was actually a blue flag status beach that needed the support to go for it. Now the £15,000 that are stated there at the time was for the replacement of some quite poor signs that were very weather beaten and probably should have been replaced a couple of seasons before. Equally, there was some unbelievable costs put in against putting out buoys, etc, etc, etc. I mean, we've got a coastal patrol here, haven't we, that, well, hanging on by the skin of its teeth, who would be more than happy, I would have thought, to put the buoys out for the blue flag scheme to reduce cost. But that was a one-off cost. What we really want to know is if they were to reapply, what would it cost then? Granted, there would be the problem that having been moribund for 5 years, then there would be things that you would have to do because you've just not been doing them. Whether it was tied into the fact that you really need a location on the seafront, which in our case was the Tourist Information Centre. Well, that's no longer there, is it? So did they drop the blue flags so they could sell off the tourist centre? Who knows? Who knows? And the machinations that go on at Woodbridge with regards to the future of Felixstowe. So that's what they said. That's, you know, that was our view. But then you go on to the East Anglian, and that's fabulous, absolutely fabulous. It says, beach still basking in blue flag brilliance. So obviously we've got 2 district councils joined at the hip. That's Waveney and Suffolk Coastal, and the statements from Colin Law, who is the Waveney District Council leader. We are delighted that both Southwold and Lowestoft have retained their Blue Flag Award for another year. This is excellent news for the Suffolk coast, and we hope it encourages even more people to visit our area this summer. Now, let me just tell you what Woodbridge relies on, and you may have heard of this organisation. It is it's a means whereby they have, we're included on the Maritime Conservation Society MCS Good Beach Guide. Now, I'm sure they're very excellent at what they do, and they accredit, one would assume, British beaches, English beaches. I don't know what their spread is, but it's not to an international standard. It is purely the beach. It's not the background. It's not selling a resort. What you're trying to do here, whoever, is to promote your resort. People need to know. It's a bit, really, if you like, a bit like the AA and the RACO guides. You knew if it was a 3-star, what type of things you would expect, a 4-star, a 5-star. It's the same sort of categorization, but the great thing about the blue flag is, assuming you're up in Cambridge or Leicester or, I don't know, Norwich, and you want to go into Suffolk for the day, you want to know which particular place to visit, you may well be inclined to look at what blue flags each resort has and make your mind up accordingly. Now, we're told that obviously the decision made back in 2010 won't be reconsidered. I mean, that's pretty close-minded, isn't it? But I wonder what the operators, owners of the Ordnance and the North Sea and the Waveney and all the other hotels that we used to have well located to our seafront, I wonder what they would be saying on the inability of us to actually promote our town, because what it's known as, and I found this from visitors who visited us during the Heritage Open Day, they weren't aware of how beautifully located with its south-facing frontage our beach and resort was. They were under the impression it was purely a massive container port, because most of the national stories that get out have got nothing to do with our resort or our Victorian, Edwardian, superb architectural heritage. It is, in the main, we've got up to 4 million plus containers pouring this way every day. And I suppose if I was a family of 4 looking for a nice seaside out, I'd probably drive to avoid such a location. And that may well have been the case in the past. Anyway, let me just leave you with the fact that England, and it is specifically England, it says, has now joined the top 10 of blue flag beaches around this globe on which we live. Now, isn't that wonderful news for those fortunate resorts whose authorities thought it was well worth investing in their future. On that note, bye for now.